Hey guys, welcome to Estheticians in Business, the podcast. I'm so excited you're here because, well, one, if you're watching from YouTube, you actually see I have kind of a different setup today. My husband got me this beautiful microphone. It's pink and it like matches my colors. He set it all up for me. So I kind of tested the sound. So hopefully the sound's good. But I'm so excited for that because it's just so cute. You guys know I always talk about like starting messy, and this is definitely part of starting messy. Like when I first started my podcast, it was at my computer using the audio from my computer, and I was at my desk and you saw like a little bit of my head. Now we have like a kind of a full setup getting there. He still says he's the aesthetic guy, and so he's still like it could be better. And I'm like, yes, but we're doing it. That's the whole point. And I think that's something I want to remind you of is if you're going to start, just start. Start messy, start ugly, start not organized and just start, okay? But anyway, today we're actually going to be talking about some profit stealers, like some things that are actually stealing your money as a solo esthetician that you may not even realize is happening. And I firsthand dealt with probably all of these, but these were definitely things that as a esthetician that went in just, messy, didn't really know what I was doing at first and have slowly had to like figure it out. Got actually a few degrees in business so I could figure it out because what the heck was I doing? That's why I teach you guys what I teach you because like you don't need to go spend 6 years getting a bachelor's and a master's in business. I will just teach you the necessities of the things without you having to like, take stuff on, taxes. So I will teach you that, the basics of that as well. But anyways, we're going to be talking about those profit stealers and like where is your money actually going? And we're going to talk about how to make more of it as well. So a few weeks ago, I posted on my Instagram and asked you guys a bunch of questions. And this was the third thing you guys wanted help with. And so we're going to cover all of that today because I know you're working hard. You're booked. You're probably out there like burning sage, posting the reels, and you're still like, why am I not making the money I actually want to make? So today we're going to expose those silent profit stealers in your business that you may not even think of that are draining your income faster than like a wax strip on a hot day. Okay. So more importantly, we're also going to fix them. So let's get started. So let's talk about the first one, that time doesn't equal money, profit does. And when I say that, I mean that you could literally be like, oh, I'm fully booked. I'm doing this, doing that, and I have no room in my spa to take more clients, but doesn't mean you're making good money. You have to remember that you could literally be fully booked, have no more time to even squeeze in a new client. And if you're still not making good money, what's the point of being fully booked, right? So you have to ask yourself, are you charging enough? And I want to share with you firsthand, I really did a doozy on this one. So I know I've talked about it a few times, but the first time I ever opened my spa, the first time I ran memberships, man, it was rough. I underpriced so badly because I just went off based off of what other people were doing. And that is the mistake. And that's what I always talk to you about. Like, that is the mistake. Knowing how much money you're actually spending and then charging what you should be paid and like actually paying yourself. It's not always about having to put the money back in and back in and back in or being the median price in your area. It's about charging what you're worth. If you're giving a whole lot of value, like I was, you need to be charging more. Because I'm telling you right now, I would rather work with one client who's willing to pay me $200 than work with two clients that want to pay me $100 each. I'm going to end up making more money with the first option than I am the second one. And I get to kind of work with the clients I actually want to work with. Now, I'm not saying having lower prices put you in a different demographic. What I'm saying is that lowering your prices is you're going to deal with different issues. And you're going to have to spend more time in the treatment room than you would if you were charging more for something. And I know it can be scary, but here's kind of a quick fix. You want to raise your prices or restructure your services that take too much time for too little return. Then there was something I refused to do. I absolutely refused to do 30-minute facials. And people always ask me for those 30-minute facials. I said no, because a 30-minute facial essentially took me, I felt like, the same amount of time as an hour facial. I would have to set up, take down. I wasn't getting paid as much. and I would have to like clean everything, do all that work to switch everything over. And I felt like it just wasn't worth my time. Actually hated it because I'm like, wow, well, what work or treatments can I do in a 30-minute span other than maybe like a really quick chemical peel? But like it just wasn't worth my time and I just did not like it. So I refused to do those things. But when it came to my 60-minute facial, when I first started, I didn't price myself high enough because I was just like, this is what I want to price myself. This is like the medium price in the area. It'll be fine. And then I realized that the amount of value I was putting in wasn't like me actually coming to work, it felt like, because I mean, I'm sure you probably had this thought, like, is it even worth for me coming anymore? Because you have to factor in your time. Okay. So charging enough for your time. And I always recommend you figure out how much you personally want to make a month in a year, and you calculate that. And then you divide that, say the number by a year, you divide that by the number of months by that you want to work, by the number of weeks you want to work, then by number of like treatments that you want to perform per week, and figure out how much you personally have to be paid per treatment for it to be worth it for you to actually be performing that treatment. All right. And that's what's really important because you have to remember, you have to factor in that setup because you're not just paying for that 1 hour treatment, right? You have to factor in the setup, you have to factor in the cleanup, you have to factor in the text, the DMs, the emotional support we give our clients. You have to really factor in all the concepts that go along with being a solo esthetician because it's so much more than just, oh, slapping on some cleanser and a serum and being like, okay, your melasma's gone, right? We have to factor in the education we have, the value we give our clients, the research that goes behind the products we use and the equipment we use and the time we spend. We have to make it worth it. Otherwise, what's the point of owning a business? Just go work somewhere else, right? I mean, I remember at one point I was freaking out because I had to buy some gloves and I was like, I don't even have money to buy gloves. And so I just want to add this was at the beginning of me becoming a solo esthetician. I quickly figured it out because I was like, wow, I have to quit if I don't figure it out soon. So your first your first step is really to make sure that profit is what's most important in your business. Time does not equal money. Spending time in your business does not equal money. Profit equals money. How much more are you making? And I always encourage you, if you've never heard of it, I also talk about this, is something called a break-even analysis. Now, a break-even analysis is basically a way that you calculate how much money you spend on overhead, on retail, and all that stuff. And then you figure out how many services you have to do in a month to just purely break even. Okay. That includes like your rent, your utilities, your cell phone bill, whatever, right? You're like, if you're using Varo or Gloss Genius, like, what are those things that you're paying for? What do you have to break even? So that means that if your overhead is $4,000 a month, you can then calculate how many, like, your main services that you have to provide to be able to pay those $4,000 overhead. Everything past that $4,000 is your profit. But the question is, are you even breaking even or are you having to put more money into it? So anyways, number 2 is going to be discounting and freebies you think are good marketing. Now I want to tell you that I am a girly of freebies, okay? I love a good freebie. But I just want to say, when I think about a freebie, I think about a freebie that's going to then bring me more clients. I don't think a freebie in the sense of like time, okay? So I'm not, unless I am a brand new esthetician, I am intentionally looking for a friend or a family member to come in and receive a service, give me feedback, testimonials, reviews, purchasing product from me, like giving me the real of everything. They can pay me that way. I'm fine with that. But if I'm a seasoned esthetician, giving away a free service to me personally was never worth my time because what's the hope? You have to remember that offering something for free is most likely not going to turn into a client. Okay. You can always tell when a client wants to be a client because they're willing to pay for it. Now, there are good marketings and there's not so great marketings. Okay. So let's start with loyalty cards. You want to focus on loyalty cards that are actually going to provide something for your client that's going to get them excited, but not provide a loyalty card that gives away too much. So there's a few different options that you can really do with loyalty cards, but I always tell people and all my students, you want to make sure you keep your loyalty cards very, very simple. You want to make sure it's understandable. You want to make sure they're able to retain it and they're able to tell people about it. So you want to keep it as simple as possible. So like, say you do a loyalty card on points, okay? You literally could be like, every dollar you spend is a point. You could just spend those points on products. The only downfall to that is you have to price your products by these points, and that can be really difficult to do. So unless you're like really good with that, I would probably recommend doing something like every 10 services you come in, you get a free add-on, and they can choose the add-on under $30 or something like that. Like, you want to make sure that you're giving them things that are worth, on their 100th service they come in, they get a free facial. Like, that to me would be worth it. But like, if you have somebody, like I did loyalty cards with their 10th service they came in, they got a free 60-minute facial. And when you break that down, like, that sucks. That's not fun, right? Because this client was coming in very frequently for me. And so, because we were doing some treatments, and because of that, those 10 came up really quickly. And because your girl originally was broke, it just didn't make, like, it sucked performing a service and not getting paid for it. So you want to make sure that your loyalty cards give enough away that gets somebody excited, but they don't actually like take away money from you. So keep it as a low cost, high perceived value to them. So maybe it is a free add-on, or maybe, it's a extended neck massage, or maybe it's a foot treatment, or maybe it's a jelly mask, or maybe it's, maybe after 50 services, they get a free chemical peel or hydrofacial. So that's very low cost, very high perceived value, but it goes along with the service. So they're not completely getting a free service, just straight out. All right. So of course you want people to get in the door. Of course we want that, but we don't want people to walk out with our products because you discounted them so much, or you don't want them to constantly have 20% off the next time. The only time I would say I'm chill when someone does like you get 10% off each service is that when they pre-book and they hold that pre-book. So for instance, say you were to pre-book a client. So say your client came in and they're going to pre-book. This is incentive to get people to pre-book. So you would get them to pre-book for their next month or their next appointment. If they hold that particular exact appointment without a reschedule or without a cancellation, they get 10% off. When you start having people that regularly do this over and over and over again, your books will get filled very quickly. And it's awesome because in reality, a lot of people will reschedule, and you'll be able to see like what your services are going to look like, how often you're going to be working, and so on and so forth. So I'm always cool with something like that, but always offering the next discount to get people in is just getting discounted clients. It's getting clients that are literally looking for the cheapest service. Like, I remember I had this one client, and let's just add this client, I have beautiful clients. My clients are so incredible. I had this one client, and I know you have this one client too, that she doesn't want to pay for anything. She doesn't want to buy anything. She just wants the basics. She doesn't want to wear sunscreen, but she wants her face to be perfect. She told me one time, I was like, what? That she didn't have a hair lady, which is fine, but she didn't have a hair lady because she'll go on Groupon and she'll buy the cheapest haircut she can find. Always. She's never seen the same hair lady twice. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to discount is people are just going to find the nearest discount unless you show them that you are worth it to be part of that. But a lot of the times the clients just like that are the ones that find the cheapest, are the ones that are just going to look for the discount. Okay. So more of the story is not offering tons of discounts that are not going to convert are not worth it. Constantly promoting without any kind of strategy is like not cool. I totally believe and like doors open, doors closed. I believe in limited amounts because people see that as a perceived value. Otherwise, they're just going to always see that you're always open and available for them. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to promotions, I have this promo playbook that I will link in the show notes. But basically, I teach you how to create a promotion that actually has a strategy that's actually going to sell product or sell services, sell packages, whatever it is, and you not have to promote all the time. Like, you do it like once or twice a year, you make a bunch of money or sell a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of new clients, and you just don't do it again till the next time. Because when you're constantly in this promo mode, people are always going to be waiting for that promotion. And that is just gross because, I mean, think about it. I remember my husband said this one time, and I probably says 1,000 times on here, but I remember I was at like a store, and at the time we were super budgeted and we just didn't have the money to buy this thing I wanted. And he was just like, the sale's always going to come back. like this sale is probably going to happen next month. And so ever since then, he's like, the sale's going to happen again. Ever since then, when I want something, but I didn't budget it or I couldn't necessarily afford it or whatever, I'm always like, I know that sale's going to happen again. Unless somebody has proven to me that that sale is not going to happen again. I hope that makes sense. Okay. You want to make sure that you offer enough value through an experience where the constant markdowns aren't necessary. Okay, so let's talk about number 3, not selling retail or selling the wrong way. Now, I'm going to talk about a second course that I created actually recently, guys. I haven't even put this out yet. So you'll be able to, see it soon. I was thinking about putting it as a bonus for something, but anyways, I created this course on selling retail. And this course on retail was about like selling your website, social media, in the treatment room, stuff like that, so that you could sell essentially with confidence. Because something that a lot of my students have talked to me about is that they're not making enough money they want purely off of treatments, because right now they're unable to afford equipment, they're unable to afford different things for themselves to make their products or their services pricier, essentially. They're just not at that place. And so I always ask, are you selling retail, or are you selling anything that's going to get your clients to spend more money with them, that's going to benefit them in the long run? So many people say no. And it makes me so sad. So we're going to walk through the kind of expectedness of all this. Okay. So first off, your retail should be about 15 to 30% of your monthly revenue. Okay. I hope you hear that. Your retail should be between 15 to 30% of your monthly revenue, meaning that the amount of money that you bring home and is in your pocket should be about 15 to 30%. Okay. Now, when I always think about this, and that can sometimes be overwhelming, like, what does that even look like? Say their service is $100. Okay. You want to aim for the amount that they spend on retail be 50% of what their service costs. So say your service is $100, you want them to spend at least $50 on product. And then in turn, that will turn into 15 to 30% of your retail revenue that you make per month. All right. And that 50%, that can sometimes sound really scary, but if you think about it, if somebody spends, this can be over time, but say somebody spends $300 with you over the course of 3 services, which I hope it's way more than that. And during that course, $150 should also be spent on retail products. That can be regardless of what service you provide, whether it's facials or waxing or lashes or nails or any of those things, body contouring, all of the things that you work with should encompass retail. And I remember I always talk about retail with everybody, even my massage therapist. I talked about retail because I had my massage therapist, she's the best ever, but always drove me crazy. She have any retail because she's making $10,000+ a month doing what she does best, massages, right? But I'm always like, man, if you literally just sold $25 per client, you could be bringing in thousands more of just like a body scrub, a lavender, anything, like the rollers or the cups or something in there, you could be making so much more money. And so I feel like you forget how much more money you can make with retail. But that's also something I teach in this course is I literally talk all the time about the fact that it can feel cringy to sell, but I feel like to me it's cringier if you don't sell a retail product, because if clients love you, they're gonna trust your product recommendations. They're gonna trust that what you have to offer is like real life and good. And if they don't, they're like not the client for you. Okay. That's just not how that works. So you want to make sure that you are recommending retail product. And if you are scaredy pants about retail product, I get it. It's okay. It happens. So what if you challenge yourself and the next time a client comes in, you recommend one product to them? One product. I'm talking just one singular product, something you're aware of, something you know about. It doesn't even matter. Like you do your skin analysis and you see like, oh my gosh, she has super red skin. So you offer her a easier cleanser, or you see that she has really dehydrated skin. So you offer her a creamy cleanser, or you offer her, a super hydrating serum, or you realize she's having some sensitivities to certain things and she tells you her sunscreen hurts her. You recommend a sunscreen. Like offer one product with your next client that comes in. And then when you get that win, girl, and again, and again, and again. All right. And I want you to think about like some easy ways for people to really use your products and to purchase them, right? So a few ways that you can really put out some recommendations is one, recommend one product after every appointment. I always say three until they're fully booked, fully on your regimen, but one product will do. Then I want you to add QR codes. Maybe it's something simple that can help you. So one of the QR codes I always recommend, and I definitely say kind of keep it to the point, but having like a picture frame in your spa that has a QR code that links to like a referral basis where people can put referrals in for you. Also having a QR code for like reviews. So like if you're trying to get more Google reviews or if you're trying to get more reviews on your booking system, wherever you're trying to do that at, have it linked there directly to it and have people be able to do that QR code. But if say you're really working on retail products, I would say having a QR code that links to your website or links to your wherever people can purchase products from you directly from you. I wouldn't, unless it directs to like an affiliate, I would definitely not send them to like this skincare brand because that's just asking to spend money somewhere else and them to get crazy. But for them to be able to purchase from you, I mean, having shelf talkers, something that is going to explain kind of what things are. Like you could have sections of your spa that's like dry skin, oily skin, acneic skin, hyperpigmentation skin. You could even have stuff with like for waxing, you could have, hyperpigmentation. People get that from ingrown hairs. You could have an ingrown hair section. You could have a softer skin section. You could have a body care section. Whatever it is, you could have it where people are like, oh, this is what I do. This is what I see. This is what I'm going to do. Retail isn't pushy. It's a service. If your client's skin is glowing in the room, but is breaking out at home, that's not okay. And that's never going to be okay. So sell retail, sell it. All right. Now, number 4, underpriced packages or memberships. And honestly, when I was writing this out, I was like, this is like, I feel like I came out myself on this one for sure. Because I feel like when I created my memberships, until I fixed the price, I was like, oh, this will be good. Blah, 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 blah. I love this price and it'd be so nice. But when I started doing facials for like, I felt like $0, I was like, this is stupid. Did I even math this at all? I did not. Then when I figured my life out and I actually charged what I was worth, it was like, oh, I love my memberships. Right. So I want you to remember, like, when you're offering things, are you actually doing the math? Like, are you selling something like 6 facials for the price of 4? And then you're like, why am I broke? Because think about it. If say you sell a package that has 6 facials in it, but they buy it for the price of 4, you have to perform 2 facials without getting paid. That sucks. Like that really sucks. So are you able to create packages where you're not giving entire services away? Or are you able to break it down a little bit different to where it's like they get additional things that don't cost you as much money? Because if you're already broke, you don't need to be giving more things away. We need to be collecting more dollars, right? So kind of figure that out. Quick fix is using a price calculator to make sure every package is profitable and not just pretty. Now, there are a few ways to use a price calculator, but I always would recommend to ensure that you are doing enough where you personally are still getting paid. Okay. So say you are like, you know what, I want to make $50 an hour. And you know that your break-even number that you can sell a service, say $30, $80 is the minimum for you to be able to cover your costs, and $50, that $80, right, is the minimum to pay yourself as well. And then, but you usually charge $120 for that service, meaning that that extra money is just profit in your pocket. It would be okay to bring it down a little bit, but ensuring that you're still paying yourself. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you are actually using like promotions to actually pay yourself still. You don't want a package to just be pretty, like, yay, I sold $5,000 of a package when I should have in real life made like $20,000 from this. You still have to do the $20,000 worth of work. So once again, this is something I teach in that promo playbook that I will link in the show notes, but it is so much better when you are actually paying yourself. So make sure that you are charging enough to make money, because if your membership sounds cute but feels like you're doing charity, it's time to rewrite it. Okay, number 5 is your time suck systems or lack thereof. If you don't have systems somewhere in your business, please stop what you're doing. That needs to be what you create. Before you do anything else, before you offer anything else, you need to create some type of system in your business. And systems, and when somebody told me systems a long time ago, I was like, LOL, what's a system? Like, what are you talking about? A system is something that you create because it takes you time to do every single time. So, for instance, this is an easy one, you're booking. When you have clients that are manually booking like through you instead of using a website or using a booking system, you're just wasting your time because let me just tell you. So, I've had hairstylists in the past, and my hairstylists have always been wonderful. But I remember this one particular one where she would take like 3 days to respond to me. There was no place I could book. I had to book directly through her, which at first I was fine. And then I became an esthetician. I'm like, that is a very stupid way to do business. Because at that point, what if I need my hair done? I'm gonna go find somewhere else. And I did. I stopped seeing her and I went and found somebody else because she was so inconsistent. It sucked so bad because I was like, I love you, but me never being able to book an appointment with you without you having to do it 3 or 4 days later makes me not want to do it. That's just too much work for me. So having a system that allows people to book, like say use a Vagaro or Gloss Genius or Square, you want to make sure that you are using something that people are able to go on them there themselves, book an appointment with you, and then it just pops up and it's exciting and ready to go. Because when you are DMing for everything, you're having inconsistent follow-up systems. That is just so draining. I saw a post the other day in an esthetician group, and somebody said, I always have to follow up with people about paying me. Like she always Zelle me because she doesn't have a payment system. To me, you're just asking your clients not to pay you. Like if I don't have a card on file, I'm not giving you the service. Like you're not leaving until you purchase what I just performed. And so like having those inconsistent things is so bad. I mean, I remember I used to follow up with every client an hour before their facial. I would have alarms going off, right? And I was like, this is horrible. This has to be a better way to do this. And so I got a booking system and I had that booking system automatically follow up with them 48 hours before their appointment, 24 hours before their appointment. And then I maybe would personally be like, there was their first time, be like, hey, this is where we're at, call me if you get lost or whatever. But making sure that you have a place that automatically sends them their consultation forms, which by the way, if you haven't done a consultation form in a while for your client, go ahead and set that up. Just go ahead and have them do that again because people probably moved, probably new phone numbers, probably new emails. Get that set up, get their new stuff. But anyways, making sure that you're able to send them the forms. What if you're doing a chemical peel? They need to fill out a liability form prior. They need to do that prior to coming in, not wasting your time during the service. So some quick fix would be automate your bookings, get people to just use your booking system. If you don't have a booking system, pay for it and do it. Automate your confirmation so they automatically get an email and a text message. And then product follow-up messages. So when they purchase something, are you able to set up a system to where you can follow up with them without you actually being the one that follows up? One of my favorite things about running a business were email sequences. I could literally follow up with clients without feeling like I'm constantly following up with my clients. My students get regular check-ins from me. Not only me, like just, oh, I thought about you. Here's a DM, but also like via email. If they're on my Voxer system, they get these check-ins all the time because it's automated. I'm like, oh yeah, I get to like check in with them and they always feel supported and I'm there with them all the time. So you want to make sure that you are following up and it's automated and that is something that feels like you and not spammy. That's also something I talk about in this retail course that is be coming out soon. Okay, so here's something I want you to remember. Your business should be working while you're asleep. If you are manually reminding your clients to reorder their cleanser, you're not the CEO. You're actually a part-time secretary. Don't hate me, but automate. All right. So what do you do now? Now that we've gone through all these things and you're like, oh my gosh, I am losing money in a lot of places. I want you to do a profit audit of your business this week. I want you to figure out what is stealing your time because time is money, right? Time is money in the sense of where you spend your time is important. Is there an ROI, a return of investment on the things you're doing? Like, could you, instead of DMing people constantly, remind them about their product renewals or remind them about their services, Could you be working on your marketing instead or making reels to get more clients in? Could you be working on a membership that's going to automate your payments? Like, could you be doing something else? Then I want you to identify one profit stealer and take action on it. So the easy one is, do you have a booking system? If you're manually sending out emails, can you set up a system that sends out emails on their own? And if your booking system doesn't automatically do that, I would highly recommend finding a new booking system. And if you're not worried about emails, fine, but at least have your text messages set up, okay? And I want you to think about, like, don't just work harder. I want you to work smarter. And I know I've talked about like a lot of different things today when it comes to like courses and whatnot. But if you're struggling with anything I talked about, I want you to check out like the links I'm going to put in the show notes, because I'm going to share not only the playbook that I talked about that I feel like, oh, everybody could just, value. It just 100% value. It's so good. But also I'm going to put in, I'm opening up my wait list for Esthetician Business, the marketing course. Now I had a whole bunch of people join in March, all of my students, and it was seriously such a beautiful time. And I closed the door so I could just purely support them. And now we're at a place where I can let more students in. So I've opened up that wait list. So if you are somebody who like wants to be on the wait list to get like one-on-one connection with me and getting really coached on your marketing, on your retail, on anything you need, this is the place where you are going to get it. Okay. So I'm going to drop that link for the waitlist in there. And that's honestly it for today, guys. I want you to remember that your money deserves respect. You deserve respect. So you want to make sure that you are taking some type of profit intervention if you have to. If you need to look at yourself in the face and be like, we're spending too much money on stupid things, do that. Okay. Because I'm telling you, $5 here, $5 there, it matters. It matters. But remember, being booked out is cute, but being paid well is much better. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week.